It is friggin' freezing out there. I can't... Daniel, I don't know about you, but, like, I can't do this kind of cold. It's just... It changes things. It's like weird cold, you know? Like, things stop working, the power goes out, raccoons are crawling in your ceiling, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the raccoons crawling in the ceiling, trees exploding, all the fun stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you hear? I heard about the trees exploding. I've heard that one before. I've never actually heard a tree explode, but I suppose there's a first time for everything.
You know, it brings up the old question: if a tree explodes in the woods, did it happen?
I mean, it depends on the casualty count, you know.
The local raccoons didn't survive, is what you're telling me.
No, it's freaking cold out there. Of course, we're only getting the cold. Down south, I hear it's gonna be an icy hurricane, you know? And,
yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, because, I mean, you remember during COVID when everything died, like in Texas, and, like, the people were out there, like, freezing their nuts off, like, hoping not to turn into giant comical ice blocks.
Yep.
I think that what we're trying to say is that, you know, if you're in Texas or in the South or just north of the South, I suppose, somewhere along that line, don't turn into Captain America, please, for the love of God. Stay warm.
or do and just become the Winter Soldier and just get a bionic arm.
There you go. Welcome back to the Clowntown Chronicle. This is your news show that never quits. I'm your host, Aaron C. This is my co-host, Daniel the Cleaner. We are here to entertain you, not blackpill you, and laugh at ridiculous idiots. I was just sitting here, man, thinking about, like, at least half the content on our show comes from people who, like, are, like, mentally deficient and don't know it. And I was wondering, is that like exploitation?
You know, some people would say it's elderly abuse. I think it's, I don't know, free money.
Is it elder abuse if they're all, like, in their 30s? They're just millennials, like, losing their minds? Is that... I don't know.
Like a guy once said, it's free real estate, all right?
It is. It's
we gotta take it when we can.
I don't have to try when these people are out on the streets because they just do so much stupid stuff. It's just easy. All I have to do is sit here and play a clip and go, wow, isn't that guy stupid? And that's the show.
Oh, yeah. Every time. It never ceases to amaze me.
Well, should we just get into it? I feel like we should just get into it because I will tell you, to be perfectly honest, I don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of clips of these subtards, as Elon Musk would call them. I don't. I just have a few. Another one got shot. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Tried to pull a gun on an officer. And he got shot. God. And they're all like, oh my God, Nazis in the streets. It's so frustrating. It's like if you guys could simply grow a little more brain mass, perhaps this wouldn't be happening. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to...
I didn't see the guy get shot, but I did see a guy try to grab one of the officer's rifles, and the first thing that happened is he got bear maced in the face. And the guy, the ICE officer that was spraying the man, had the biggest grin on his eye. Like, it's good. Now I get to use this on you.
We see that a lot.
That's the one thing I learned. Just don't grab it. Just leave it.
Well, then
what is wrong with people?
Like a week or two ago, they stole a fully automatic AR from a federal car. And they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to get them. And then it's been discovered of late that they have secret Signal groups because, you know, Signal's a safe app if you're going to usurp the government. You know, yes, I know it's usurp. It's a joke. Because these people really are LARPing, but they don't know it because their IQ is so low they can't tell the difference between Star Wars and real life anymore.
their IQ is about as strong as the local terrorist group, because that it's like any other organization that uses Telegram to do their dirty bidding on as well. Like even like the what's it called? The people that do all the credit card scams and stuff. Someone had like found out that they use Telegram to like communicate to all of themselves, like to each other, and got into it because they got like someone to give them access to it, and just sat there like reading it all and basically listening in like the little bug that they could be. I was like, people don't get this, dude. That nothing is safe to use.
No.
When you're communicating with each other, you're going to get exposed. It's best just not use it and just go personal. And even then, you still have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, we use the Telegram to post spicy memes and for me to post schizo takes as much as possible. That's what
was like our local manifesto.
Yeah. There's nothing crazy going on in there. But no, if you're under the illusion that you can use your phone to do any kind of communication, and you're like, we'll definitely not be monitored because this app is encrypted. I think there's a short bus that you can take to work from now on.
Yeah, every time I can get a freaking dime for every time someone said this is encrypted. They can't take our data. Said Facebook, said Twitter, said any social media, said anything in the world, and yet it still gets leaked out that your data is out there from these companies because they keep getting hacked and losing it somehow. Somehow, in quotations, where more likely they're just paying somebody to say, hey, we're going to slip you the bill of it all. Just say we got broke into.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just insurance fraud without the insurance.
It's just ridiculous. Like, if you're doing illegal things on an app, they know. The difference is, will they do anything about it? And I think that the one thing that the lefties and the anti-ICE people are not LARPing about, and this is what's crazy, they think that the government is against them. Like, it's not just like Trump. They think the whole government, like we were talking this week, and I can't remember who posted about it, but I had to come into the Telegram and say something like, the left believes that the media is controlled by Republicans.
Yeah, because I posted that the video of the guy saying that, the media shutting down what's happening in these places. Nobody knows actually the truth and like what's going on.
Right.
And I'm like, what's going on here? Are we living in an alternate universe where the right wing is controlling the media like crazy?
They really believe
and saying nothing's going on behind the curtain. Like I have far not seen any of that at all. It's, if anything, it keeps constantly being the opposite side of the argument.
Well, they're thinking of Murdoch and like people who own like Fox News. They think Fox News is a right-wing news source. And this is what's crazy to me is like, yeah, okay, maybe back in like the Obama era, you could consider Fox News right-wing, but Fox News is left-wing with some brakes on it. That's the difference. That's all. I mean, that's all it is. Like, these people live in a liberal society and they're ruining it because they don't believe it. It's weird. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I might have to think about that a little bit more. But yeah, they do really believe that the media is controlled by right wingers. That to me is insane. But anyway. So I have a funny one to start with, and it's to help everyone. So like the winter's going to be over at some point, right? And you're going to want to do like spring cleaning. Have you heard of house burping?
No, I have never heard of house burping.
You haven't?
No, I actually have not. I maybe have heard a different term of it, but not house burping.
No, you have heard of a different term of it. You have. But this is the new trend, they're saying, on NBC News.
This is a reminder that even though it's freezing, you need to burp your house.
While frigid temperatures have millions avoiding the outdoors, these days, some folks are welcoming the cold into their homes.
Just get some fresh air in there. You'll thank me, babe.
It's part of a growing trend inspired by the age-old German practice known as Lüften, meaning to air out by briefly opening the...
Wait, I get it. I see. How could I not see it before? It is owned by the right wing. Did you hear that? They're trying to sneak in German words and make us all speak German. Even NBC News is in on it. Does it really need, is this like an IKEA thing? It's the Luften. We have to do the Luften. You're opening the freaking windows. Well, you call Luften. Are you kidding?
Meaning to air out by briefly opening the windows and letting the fresh air in. In the U.S., it's picking up
Oh, man, it's a trend now. Opening your windows.
You know, I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I hate the future.
theme under a quirkier quip. House burping. No matter the name, Indoor Air Quality Pro Tony Abadi says it has real benefits, including preventing mold, contaminants, and carbon dioxide buildup.
Guys, opening this new crazy technology, opening your windows, it's really good for you.
Who is Tony Abadi? Tony Abadi. I mean, we needed a professional or something with a bad hairpiece to tell us that opening your windows is good for you?
Oh man. How did we fall into idiocracy so quick? How?
It's been forced on us. Like this is the problem with appealing to the lowest common denominator in society is you encourage them. You encourage them to just be dumb, relax and be dumb. And I think this is what's funny to me is like the midwits are the problem now. It's like, oh, we're practicing Luften in our house. What does that mean? Well, we open the windows. Does it mean anything else? No. Then why don't you just call it opening the windows? No, you see, it's Luften. Did you ever see Monty Python? I'm sorry, I'm coughing. I'm around a bunch of dogs, and it always gets me. But did you ever see Monty Python's Flying Circus with the upper class twit of the year?
God, I haven't seen that one. I watched some of it, but not all of it.
I'd play it, but it would get blocked. Would be my guess.
Yeah, it would be.
Because all it is it's just a bunch of rich dudes, of course, played by the comedy troupe themselves, and they have to do very basic things like starting a car, walking a straight line, and they can't do it because they're so pampered. They're total idiots, and I'm kind of like, are we there with Luften? Luften. That's your idiocracy clip of the day. How about another midwit little thing here? I'm not saying this is bad because I use pink salt too. I fell for the meme. I use pink salt because someone gave me some. But apparently it's a hoax too, by the way.
I'm about to tell you something that's going to flip your brain.
Oh no, it's an AI video. Can we do this?
You know what? The bubble's bursting. Let's get it in before it all completely fails.
All right.
Himalayan salt isn't Himalayan. Not even close.
It isn't even Himalayan, Daniel. Was everything a lie? I came across one of these videos this week that was the same thing. It was like, everything you thought was healthy is actually evil and dark. I found one about Kerrygold butter, which is the known favorite of people who are trying to eat normal butter. You know Kerrygold.
Yeah.
So every comment under it was like, no, it can't be. And my favorite one was, guess I'll just starve. Because there's definitely a slop category of alternate health information, and they're all trying to alternate out one another, or out-alternate one another. The only way to safely consume salt and butter, is to get salt directly from a salt mine and to get butter directly from raw milk and churn it yourself. And guess what? It'll still have microplastics in it because all the grass is contaminated. because of the chemtrails you see. I'm just saying, this hyper-paranoia about health, now that it's mainstream, is just getting dumber, and now you can make AI slop out of it.
All that pink salt, rose salt, mountain crystal salt you see in U.S. stores looks like it came straight from a snowy holy mountain. Reality? It comes from Pakistan.
Not Pakistan. Anywhere but Pakistan.
All of it. No exceptions. The real mining site is a giant pink tunnel. Pink walls, pink lakes. Even the air looks pink. Walking inside feels like entering a pink alien nest. So why don't they call it Pakistan salt? Because it wouldn't sell. Let's be honest. The word Himalayan is worth more than the salt itself. Change the name. The price jumps instantly. Americans think they're buying a high-altitude health mineral, but it's really ancient sea sediment, a fossil salt from 200 million years ago. You think you're eating luxury. You're actually eating geology. And here...
Oh, that was a good one. You're actually eating geology, as opposed to what? Salt that's not geological? Did I miss something?
It's like someone telling me that, hey, you can have salt, you can have like not salt, ice from the Arctic.
Oh, here's our guy.
I just go to my fridge and grab a thing of ice because it's the same.
Here's our guy right here. Grok, is this true? Himalayan pink salt is mined in Pakistan's Kura mine, not the Himalayas. The name is marketing. It contains trace minerals giving the color, but health benefits are overstated. It's nutritionally similar to table salt and lacks iodine. This guy says it's literally in Pakistan, you dummy. There's a theory in communication called jamming. It's where you just flood the zone with a bunch of irrelevant information and just let people fight about it. That's all that AI is. Did you hear about the new development with AI shorts on YouTube?
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't get to fully read into it, but I did see some stuff on it, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I know you hate them. There's only going to be more of them. They make up like 80% of whatever's on YouTube now. That's a rock fact. I don't know. But it's only going to get worse because the CEO won't do anything about it. He likes the shorts. He likes the AI slop.
He loves it just as much as Microsoft loves it, and they keep trying to tell us, guys, please, you got to do it. You got to love it because we're going to lose money.
Yes, please.
We need you guys to love the slop and stop calling us slop.
Yeah, and slop is evil. I mean, slop is good. You will like slop. Slop is really good. And speaking of slop, of course, you've heard about the Fable re-release. Yes?
Oh, yes. I've heard the controversy over it as well.
Now, hang on. Let me try to be as basic as I can about this, because I know people are upset that there's like black people in what's the name of the country in it? I forget. It's supposed to be like a fantastical version of Old England. Albion, that's the name of it. And they're mad, and they're saying people are mad there's like black people in it, but there's a lot of reasons to be mad at this game. But the number one reason that I'm mad at it is I remember when my cousin was excited about this game. He was like, have you heard of Fable? And we were like 8 or 9 years old, right? I'm like, I like Morrowind. And he was like, you can become super evil in it or super good. And every one of your choices is monitored. And by the end of the game, you'll either look like a devil or an angel. And it was this ultra binary like morality system. And that's how it was marketed. And now there's all this press stuff coming out like there's no clear good and bad side in Fable. Everything is gray area. And then they like show in the trailer a person like kicking a chicken across a street. Because there's a gray area with kicking a helpless chicken, I guess. But here's the bit that's going to ruin it for you for good.
Fable is trying out something never before seen in a AAA game, mockumentary-style interviews.
You want to hear that one more time? We're going to do it one more time.
Fable is trying out something never before seen in a AAA game, mockumentary-style interviews.
They're gonna put The Office in Fable.
What happened to the games?
Why?
What happened to games just being good and having like a fun system that letting the players just enjoy it instead of just forcing garbage and crap like this down our throats?
Mockumentaries should be banned. But unfortunately, millennials think they're the most hilarious thing on earth because they're like, oh my God, it's so relatable. It's so relatable. Look.
I don't play Fable for, let me zoom in on this guy like we're in the office. I play it to actually, I don't know, enjoy the story and the quirky like humor that it is and the morality of it, of like, knowing that, hey, you can do this is good, or you can absolutely ruin this person's life.
Nobody takes anything seriously anymore. I mean, you're going to be like slaying a giant dragon, and at the end, like the dragon's going to be almost dead, and then he's going to look directly in the camera and just give you that Jim Halpert face. It's like raise his eyebrow. There we go. Dragon defeated. And then someone comes in and just goes, no one's ever really gone. And then by the end of it, you learn the dragon isn't actually bad. I mean, whatever.
I'm here to conquer the vegetable, not a euphemism.
Okay. All right. We're 10 seconds in and I want to give up, but I must not.
It was used in one of the first Fable trailers.
You know, more and more, I kind of wish this entire franchise just stayed dead. It ended on a decent note. Let's leave it where it is at. Let's not revive this thing ever again.
I never played a single one. I've never played Fable. I don't even know what Fable is, except for what my cousin told me those many, many, many years ago.
The best way to put it is your family bloodline is like superheroes and like are considered heroes, and you're just going around trying to save the entire like place of Albion. And like they end up becoming king at one point or something like that. But it's just a bunch of random like little stupid stuff that you got to do along the way to stop a guy who they deem is basically Palpatine. But there's just nothing but British like goofy humor and just like almost like South Park level of fart jokes in it here and there.
Yeah, that I remember that.
That's all it really is. It's fun and it's got enough humor in it to me that it's like, all right, this is enjoyable. And it's really just a beat 'em up almost in some sections for the combat. It was, but that's it. That's what made it good. It was just the goofy humor that was like enlaced in it with some of the quests that were like, all right, here's a little fun side quest. Go around shooting gnomes because they're mocking you.
Yeah.
And they just like yell at you and say stupid stuff that like insult you, insult your mother, and things like that. It's just, that's what made it good. And then they're doing this.
Yeah, they're taking all the teeth off of it. They're domesticating the original game is what they're doing.
It's used in one of the first Fable trailers, and fans thought the scenes were made just for the trailer. But it turns out these office-style cutaways are in the full game. In case you didn't know, Fable is very British, and the new game is very much inspired by comedies from the UK, even bringing in actors like Richard Ayoade from the IT Crowd and Matt King from Peep Show, with more British actors yet to be revealed. But they're also mimicking the style of interview scenes popularized by The Office. Playground Games chief Ralph Fulton said, quote, "It allows you a way to really neatly tell a joke or drop a little bit of character detail in a way that would feel really clunky in a dialogue, but suddenly..."
I'm not trying to be mean, but this entire game looks like it's generated by AI. Like it looks
it really
like
does,
really
yeah.
It's like it's so generic. Like it's like, yes. I mean, I don't know if it's Unreal 5. I don't really care, but it has that look of like no art direction. It's just like the people look weird. The outdoors look weird. I mean, everything looks weird and flat and boring and dumb and uninspired and safe. It's safe. It's so safe. This is the video game equivalent of like those little plastic things you put in plugs to keep babies from shocking themselves. That's what this look is. I mean, it's, it's so boring. I thought the original had like an almost anime style to it, like oversized hands on characters and crap like that. What is this? I mean, like, and these ugly, nasty looking characters that are poorly lit. It's just flat. It's flat. It's lazy. The whole thing is lazy. And now they're like, we'll just do a mockumentary style camera, and that'll make it creative.
Yep. I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
Suddenly feels entirely natural when you do it to camera. So yeah, Fable is not your typical fantasy RPG. In fact, the devs are describing it as more—
No, it is a typical fantasy RPG. That's the problem. Zero identity. It just looks like, I mean, what was the one we were making fun of like a year ago? It had like a pink theme, like they had the new fantasy pink thing. It wasn't Dragon Age. It was Forsaken or something like that. I don't remember.
There was one other one. I think it's with Activision Blizzard that put one together.
Yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, they all look the same. It's just meh.
Yeah.
game. Whimsical, fun, and funny. We'll see this fall if they can pull it all off.
I doubt it. I'm sorry, I doubt it. We're achieving levels of millennial slop previously unimaginable. Absolutely correct. Yes.
They are going the direction of like what happened to Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Just completely extremely like, hey, let's not make fun of anything or poke fun at anything. Completely wash out the humor with just millennial garbage.
It's corporate.
We want to keep it as gray as possible so we don't offend anybody, and like the game just does mid, but we sell off of like a major amount because it's the name and everybody's dying for a new one.
This was made by Disney enjoyers. And I don't mean like good Disney. I mean like the only Disney they know is the Disney that really thought Captain Jack Sparrow was such a good idea that every character should just be Jack Sparrow now. Remember how funny Jack Sparrow was back in the day because he was weird, and then every character became Jack Sparrow without the personality? It's just quips.
Yeah.
You know, remember how funny the joke was? A compass that doesn't point north. Right? Like, that was great. Yeah. But now everybody's a compass that doesn't point north. It's like, God damn, I'm so quirky. It's The Office all over again. I mean, man, I don't know how people do this. I really don't. But we have, of course, we know what these. So this is what like the normies do in their off time. They enjoy the slop, but sometimes they get really angry. That's when it gets weird because they don't believe in anything. Except that America is under control of a fascist regime. Of this they are certain. And I saw some clips out of Minneapolis this week that disturbed my already darkened mind, and this is one of them. For the audio listeners, would you describe this man's face, Daniel?
I would say the most oversized, like thin Harry Potter glasses, except not as round. Might have a neck beard. It depends on how far down the beard goes. It's kind of like short, but not. I can't tell if it goes down on his neck though. He is wearing a plaid button-up, and he's got the look of kind of meh kind of face.
He's got SSRI eyes.
Okay.
And his nostrils look as if they were just like sliced open so he could like take his first breath after coming out of the pod for the first time. His ears appear to be pinned to the side of his head. He's not a terribly attractive fellow. He also looks like he has a vampiric pallor to his complexion. But this is what, so when they're not playing Fable, and being excited about all the new slop and reminiscing on all the old slop, this is what they're up to.
This is a civil war.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgot. I don't have my fancy mixer because I'm podcasting in exile. So let me turn this up.
This is a civil war. And you're either on the side of the freedom fighters or on the side of the Gestapo.
The Gestapo. You're either on the side of the freedom fighters or the Gestapo. It's just Star Wars brain, man. Gestapo?
Man, I'm so tired of these people. It's just like the same brain power they use, like the 2 cells that they have to figure out.
All right, we have 2 out of 3, so I'm going to push the button.
Is this fat, bald retard serious?
He's not bald yet, but he does appear to be balding. I don't know. It's getting pretty thin up there.
Can someone give these guys some batteries so they could, change the remote batteries so they can finally change the channel and get something new on?
No,
they keep saying the same damn thing. Can they come up with something different?
The Gestapo. This is the result of an education system that is broken. It's an education system that is like history began when America won World War II, and then it began for real during the Civil Rights Movement. And then the best thing that ever happened was the legalization of homosexuality. And America has been getting better ever since. And if you don't like it, you're a Nazi. It's like, what?
Thank you, Richard Nixon.
What are we talking about here, man? But this is brainwashing. That's what it is. And
we're on the levels of every time someone tries communism, someone yells, well, they didn't really do it. It's like, okay.
So so Newsfist and I are we've set up another conversation time, another interview, one might say. It's going to be about mass communication and mind control, because he has a theory that we discussed during a secret encrypted signal call. I'm just kidding. About how mass communication and mass control works. And he's dead right. He's exactly right. That's your trailer. That's all you get. But it won't be for another couple weeks. In the meantime, I do have another interview on a different topic with a different person that will be coming out probably midweek next week. Depends on how motivated I am to work for free. I'm sorry. Excuse me. You want to see the funny part of this clip? We're going to watch it again. We're going to watch it again because we didn't watch the back half of it.
This is a civil war, and you're either on the side of the freedom fighters or on the side of the Gestapo.
You're either in the anti-bad guy, good guy club, or you're literally a bad guy.
Yeah. I had a thought also. I don't think we need to be mocking these people as like commies. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but I don't know if that's the angle, because I don't think they think of themselves as like commies unless they're like totally in it. Like you sent a clip into our super encrypted, super secret, super safe Telegram of someone holding like a flag with a bunch of communist dictators on it. Like, we have comrades in the system right now. Yeah. I think we need to mock these people for actually being idiots. Like, they are idiots, and it's okay to say that. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're a genius, but congratulations. You didn't get sucked into the normie freaking Akira-sized blob of humanity that now thinks that they're smarter than everyone else because they read Reddit all day. The way to counteract, I'm serious, like the way to counteract half the brainwashing that goes on now is to practice simple virtues, such as humility and truthfulness. Because if you don't, you turn into a dummy like this guy. I'm just saying. You want to raise your IQ? Start telling the truth. And have a little humility. It's very, very easy. But no, it's not going to stop there. Of course, we have to take a little trip over to Minneapolis because now the protesters are being accused of being Gestapo. Gestapo, by the way. this is the world of the post-war consensus, where all we know is Nazi Germany and Martin Luther King Jr., the Civil War, the Titanic, and 9/11. That's what we know about history. And also Republicans bad. That's a good one. Yeah. That's about it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, brainwashing. So these are the leftists who have been accused of being Gestapo. I just want to, let's just watch this and see what we think. I'll let you have first blood when this is over.
We're not ICE. Why are you guys following us? And they leave like right when we get out of the car. We're not ICE. We're not ICE. We're following them because they were following us.
No? You look suspicious as fuck. Are you?
Wait. So should people follow and harass any suspicious-looking person?
I'm harassing you. Get out of here.
Why are you guys following us?
Because you're fucking ICE.
We're not ICE.
No, and they...
Not ICE. Not in a nice vehicle, right?
No.
Right. Get in your truck and get the fuck out.
Why?
Because you need to go. Confirmed ICE.
We're not ICE.
Yeah, same to the people that you're abducting. Get out.
We're not because we're being followed. They're following us, and they came up. We didn't even know they were following us until they came up and said, "We've been following you, reporter, independent journalist."
Go report something.
Okay.
Go to the airport.
We don't want people following us.
Go to the airport.
And hurting us when we get home.
They're not going to hurt you. They're going to stay right behind you. They're going to stay right
all
behind
the way
you.
back to where we're staying, right?
Great.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. It's why we're Americans. Why are we being forced out of a neighborhood? We're reporters.
Well, we have Americans being detained.
We're not detaining anybody.
By people who are claiming to be federal agents.
We're not claiming that.
So you can tell we're a little bit on edge.
That's fine, but it doesn't give you the right to run people out of town.
Yeah. So why are you here though? I mean,
we're reporters.
Are you going to join the protest against ICE?
We are reporters.
You're reporters with who?
I'm an independent journalist. I sell my footage.
What's your handle?
What's my handle?
Yeah.
I sell my footage.
Really? Yeah, you're pretty established.
I sell my
Where are
footage.
your press credentials?
I have them in my pocket. I showed them
you
repeatedly.
You have press credentials?
Yes, they're in my pocket.
Your take, Daniel.
Oh, boy. You know, I'm at a loss for words. You know what? Hang on. You want to get the bleeps ready?
Oh, the bleeps? Wait. What? What am I bleeping?
Sorry, we're gonna open up the swear jar. My God,
go for it.
All these people are just jackasses. I'm so fucking tired of them.
Yeah.
I have no pity for any of these people because, good God, you're harassing people who have nothing to do with this. They just want to go home and go about their goddamn life. Independent people who are filming it for, any news they're selling it to, which is fine. Who cares? And you also, who gives a shit? Why do you have to harass everybody with your freaking rape whistle and your horn of your car? Go home. Do people not have anything to do with their fucking day? They have no jobs, no life. They're about as bad as Bernie Sanders. They are the biggest bums in the world. Can we just sell this goddamn state and call it done? I'm so tired of it. All right, rant over. There you go.
I know how you feel.
For the thought.
Yep.
Penny for the thought.
We're independent thinkers. Roger, 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 roger.
All right, so they're like, oh, yes, you are Gestapo. May I see your credentials? Can I see?
This is the more and more they're sounding like the Gestapo. Where are your papers?
Yeah, exactly. He's even walking like a Gestapo guy. Look at him. He's got his hands behind his back. Oh, yes, we'll need your papers, and then we'll be very merciful to you. Perhaps. It's so pathetic, man. And it's what's crazy is this is the vector that I guess everyone got wrong in the post-war consensus. They're like, everyone's just inches from becoming a Nazi at any time. That must mean what we need to do is tamp down on right-wing movements. It's no. The Nazi problem where people get sucked into this kind of thing and they just become Gestapo, if you want to call it. That is a mid-wit IQ problem. Do you understand? Yep. It's not a right or left wing thing. This is a mid-wit problem. This is a midwit who watches too many movies. This is a movie-brained person who is programmed to behave like this by the media that he watches. It has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with intelligence. Turns out, making dumb people think they're smart with credentials and all kinds of things that are simple symbols of intelligence without any demonstrated intelligence turns people into the giant human blob from Akira. That's what's happening. Do you understand, you buffoons? Ah, yes, never again. We must never allow a collectivist Nazi movement to ever happen again. Must be their political takes. They don't have politics. They don't think. They don't have precepts. Their beliefs are grounded in nothing. Do you understand? The problem is an IQ problem. That's my rant. What do you think, Daniel?
Oh, I think you're right on the money. All I could say is this. Shame on the people for bothering just innocent people who just want to go about their goddamn day. Shame on the media for pushing this shit, because I don't know why we have to start this stuff all the time. Yeah, you got to, keep tabs on it. You got to show the world what's going on. But pushing an agenda is not the answer. You're supposed to be biased. You're the news, and that's what your job is to do as a journalist, is keep your bias, no matter what side it is on you're on, and if you like it or not. And also, shame on Tim Waltz for fucking starting this shit in the first place by pushing it further.
I know.
By telling them people to go out there and harass these officers and harass people just because their plate may say Texas on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so goddamn tired of these people. It's just so annoying. People just want to go about their goddamn day.
And this is the problem with these LARPers who think they're revolutionaries. You know what his big secret is? You want to know this man's big secret? He doesn't want anyone to know this. He doesn't. He really doesn't. Because it's so dangerous, Daniel. This man has read the works of Karl Marx. That's his secret. That's his secret. And he's just waiting for you to give him an excuse for him to split sides and just say, I have read the forbidden book. Because I know how these people operate. That's his secret. He read a book. And he can't wait to tell you because it gives him clout. And communism is scary. And that's the only reason these people are using it as a thing. And the only reason they're into left-wing politics is because it has power bequeathed upon them by the state. That's why they're doing this, because they know they won't be arrested. Right?
Yep.
That's the only reason they're doing this.
More and more, I'm glad that you can't send the National Guard. Then it's like, I hope to God they send the military.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're gonna have
this is getting out of hand and becoming just complete anarchy.
Well, what about this guy?
It's got to be reestablished.
It's only gonna get sillier from here, because now they're buying weapons, right? All right, I hate guns. We don't need guns for tyranny. Take away the Christian white people guns. For decades, we've been hearing this. Decades. They're crazy. They don't need guns. Nobody needs a weapon of war. And now they're all like, I bought an AR-15. These people are retarded. They not only were they born with a bad brain, it was then abused by an abusive government and media for their entire lives, from the time they were children. These are abused, subtarded people, and I don't think they can be fixed. Man, I wish they could be. But knowing what I know about intelligence and about arrogance and how those two things go together in a really bad way, you cannot talk these people out of this. You cannot beat it out of them. They are captured. It's over.
I'm generally a pretty liberal person, but when I saw videos of ICE jumping out of unmarked vehicles and nabbing people off the street, that's when I actually bought my first AR-15.
He's not a liberal. What does liberal mean, Daniel? Liberal. It sounds a little bit.
I don't even know anymore.
It sounds a little bit like libertarian. There's a liber in there somewhere. Freedom. He goes, I'm a liberal, so I hate guns.
But when I saw videos of ICE jumping out of unmarked vehicles and nabbing people off the street, that's when I actually bought my first AR-15. So I'm pretty new to this, but the Second Amendment's for all of us. And now I'm seeing videos of Black Panthers out in Minneapolis, chasing down ICE and other police and stuff. I think that's what it's all about. We're facing tyranny right now, and I want to be prepared for if that stuff comes to my neighborhood.
What have you sort of thought about it? I've seen the same videos you're talking about. I've seen some of the stuff in person that you're kind of talking about. I've seen some people on the right wing take issue when the left arms up.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, the amendments to the Constitution are for everybody. We're all American. We all have those rights, and we should all be using them.
Who are you going to shoot, man? Who's your first target? Is it a Trump supporter? Huh? Who are you going to shoot? What's going to fix it? Who does this? Hang on. Where is it? Where is it?
Is this fat, bald retard serious?
Look at his face. That's the face of a killer, Daniel. I'm shaking in my boots. And it's not just because it's negative 17 outside. Look at that face.
Mr. Peanut is here.
He's going to save us all. Daniel, he's going to save us all.
Some people.
This is idiot behavior. All right. I bought a rifle because the Black Panthers done inspired me to go buy a rifle. You are white trash. That's what you are. That's what you are. You're the worst kind, too, because you're out here thinking you ain't that, my friend. I virtue signaled and I'm going to go stab at those Black Panthers. They don't want you. They don't want your pasty ass, man. It ain't happening. So I guess I'm a little fired up about this, but am I wrong, Daniel? Daniel, am I going too far?
No, I think you're hitting it right on the head.
It's for the content, of course. It's for the content. Here is another guy who is not fat, but is two of the three. So, we've got the button on reserve for him. This guy's been out there Fed posting all week, and he's got a flak jacket or a carrier. I don't even know if he's got plates in there. He probably does. I don't freaking know. He's got tattoos all over his face. Okay, if you couldn't see these tattoos, say the video were a little blurrier, what would you think this man is?
If I couldn't see the tattoos, oh man, there's a really good guess.
What's he look like to you? What does this man look like?
If you were to ask me, with the wood I'm seeing currently and judging off of that, and I'm going to judge hard, I would say white supremacist.
Yes, exactly. He looks like a Nazi. He looks like a neo-Nazi. Perhaps our societal controllers were wrong. Perhaps the entire thing was about people's intelligence. Perhaps it was about their. Why can't I think of the word? Why can't I think of this word? It's a very, very good word. Disposition. Perhaps it was more dispositional than political? Perhaps all of these antisocial, violent people who want to fight the government or their fellow citizens and shoot people with MAGA hats on, perhaps it's a dispositional problem and has nothing to do with politics. Oh, no. That couldn't possibly be true.
My name is Kyle. I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They fucked up, okay? Go out.
Okay, if you bleep it, you have to mute the audio too, or it doesn't work. You know that, right?
Trying to get the message out. They fucked up, Okay? Go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet. Show up, ready to go. Okay, not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. I am talking specifically to my fucking followers. This is everything I have fucking talked about, and this is exactly what I said was gonna happen. This is exactly what I said was gonna fucking come when we didn't fucking go and march on fucking Whipple with guns. Sorry. But welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's going to keep you fucking protected from literal fucking Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. This is not a fucking joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your fucking gun.
That's a Nazi. That's okay. So to the societal controllers who think that everything bad is Nazi, that's a Nazi. That right there. You see that? You see that face? Okay? I know you only understand a few very simple words, and Nazi is one of them. That's a Nazi. Do you think that'll work, Daniel? Do you think if I just call bad people Nazis, it'll work? No?
It depends on who you're asking, what side.
No, it won't work.
I would say no.
Perhaps the word is overused. I wouldn't want to suggest such a thing.
Like I said, it depends on the side. If you ask me, no, it doesn't work. But if you ask the left, 100%. They think it's underneath everybody's skin just to keep yelling Nazi at somebody.
It's useless now. It doesn't mean anything now. All right. So,
but you know what really gets people though?
Mm-hmm.
You can hit the button. It's the fat bald retard.
Why do I always scroll away?
Is this fat bald retard serious?
I should just have that on play. You know,
for this episode, man, you really have to keep it on play.
You want to hear another Asmongold one I picked up this week, actually?
Oh,
I didn't put it on the board.
I think I might have to become a Jew.
You know what? Same, Asmon, same.
I'm sorry, but this is a criminal. All right, this is a criminal. All right, but the state and the powers that be like guys like this. They want guys like this. And I made a comment on it, and I said, I'd call this guy a Fed, but those eyes don't lie. Because on the right wing, you've always got guys like this who pose with guns, who pose with gear, who look tough, who are like, we need to get out there and just shoot some people or whatever. And they do this all the time. And half the time, right-wingers call them out as Feds, because that's what they are. And so I was looking at this guy, and I'm like, yeah, it's an agitator. That is a federal officer pretending to be an agitator. And then I looked at the eyes, and I realized they don't need to do that on the left side. I wonder why they wouldn't need to do that on that side. Very interesting stuff. So, yeah, this guy is about to mount up with this guy.
Cool. You got two fat bald retards doing stupid stuff that shouldn't happen.
I know. But look at this. Do you think this guy takes this guy seriously? He's like, oh, yeah, I went out there and bought an AR-15, the Second Amendment. You know, I might be kind of a liberal. And then this guy's like, what do you think this guy thinks of that guy? I mean, like, really? This is a psychopath. This is a psychopath. We got enough of these guys.
Man.
We don't need to look at this face anymore. How about this face?
It's amazing of how many people who are like, oh, I need to get a gun to protect myself, but they can't tell who from whom out there. Who are you protecting yourself from? At this point, you need to, maybe not buy one and protect yourself from it, because at this point, I think they're schizo enough that they might blow themselves apart.
Vive la revolution. I don't know how to spell spench.
We don't speak in the words of I give up.
Yeah. I don't even know if the annotation will work on the old I've never actually tried it. I don't know if it'll work on OBS, but it was fun for us, wasn't it? All right, let's move on. Another fun story that happened this week was the World Economic Forum got together.
Oh, God.
It was so bad, man. It was so good. It was so good. Oh, my God, was it good. It was like a present, like a Christmas present that you just never had to stop opening. It's just present inside of present inside of present inside of present.
Yeah, this is like, hey, bud, what's under the tray? Looks like there's another gift we might have forgotten as we're taking it all down. And you're like, oh my God. And you open it up. And you're like, you open it up, and then it's like one box, and then you open up that box, and then you open up another box, and you keep opening boxes, and you're just getting excited, hoping to get to the bottom.
Yeah.
But he just keeps opening.
Yeah. It just
what
keeps
this is?
going. That's exactly what it is. We had so many bangers come out of the WEF. They are not happy. They are not happy at all. And they're actually fighting with each other, which is really weird. Trump spoke at the WEF, and he gave what I can only characterize as a banger speech. He did good. I was like really pleased with the stuff he said. And I know, he's just an orange man. He's a poser. I don't care. The words are out there. It's good. It's good. Speak the reality you want to see. You know, we all need to cultivate a little more beauty. And that's why I bring you Klaus Schwab. Here's Klaus Schwab. Just one of his many clips from the World Economic Forum. Here we go.
I think that we are losing a narrative.
Nice. That's all I need to hear. I think we are losing the narrative.
I think that we are
Is this fat, bald retard serious?
Narrative which has guided humankind since its beginning. It's the narrative that you are here and you owe your existence also to prepare a better future. If you go back to the agricultural society, even to the beginnings during the whole...
What was that? Hang on.
During the whole time of the
What is he saying?
This is like what's his name? Is it Alex Jones that did the sound?
No, that was Rob Reiner.
That was Rob Reiner. Okay.
Yeah, that was Rob Reiner.
God. I was like, can you spit it out?
Yeah, he's like, it's like he got a marble or a tooth came loose and he's like gargling on
beginnings,
it.
Spit it out, man. Come on.
The dogs make that kind of a noise when they're hungry.
During the whole time of the industrial society, there was this drive to create a better world for the future. Today, with all the crises which we have, with the multitude of problems we are confronted with, I think we have become much more egocentric on a individual and also on a national way. That makes international cooperation so much more difficult, by the way. And I think we have to think about how we recreate this narrative. And here, I have to say I'm quite optimistic.
So he wants to recreate the narrative that we've had since the beginning of humankind, that we're supposed to leave a better future for our children.
Okay, Bill Nye.
Hang on. I for some reason, I feel like that is not his. Well, perhaps it is. Perhaps that is his objective, to create a better future for his children, much like George Soros' son, who was also at the meeting and looked like an absolute idiot. Total pipsqueak, like gurgling the same as our guy here. Just these people can't talk. And for what I say about, for what I was saying about like midwits being super comfortable and they can LARP around and believe they're living in Star Wars and that kind of thing, the big boys on the top also do that, because the reality is every person that you know and have met that isn't Amish is controlled by their screen. They're controlled by their screen and what they see on it. And they thought, and this is the most hilarious part, They thought that if they controlled the screen, that they would be above being controlled by the screen. Nonsense. Nonsense. The brain doesn't work that way. When you see something over and over and over again on a screen, it doesn't matter if you made that movie or if somebody else made that movie. You get engaged with it. Your brain thinks it's real. And so you can end up with boomer brain or millennial brain or zoomer brain or alpha brain. I don't care. If you have a screen in front of your face, you're going to live in a dream world. I speak from experience. But this is where we're at with a lot of the WEF representatives. They really believed their utopian vision of a world of tomorrow where you lived in the pod and ate the bugs and didn't have to cash out at a Amazon store or a Whole Foods. It would just scan your face and out you go. They really believe that the New World Order, like apocalyptic thing that Christians were screaming about in the 80s and 90s, they really believe that, oh, well, they hate that, so if we do that, it might work. It's outdated software. That's not how it works. That's not how any of it works. But they don't listen because they have movie brain. This was a repeated theme at the WEF. Was a lot of people attempting to come to terms with the fact that their idea didn't work. You know who this man is, Daniel?
God, he looks familiar. I actually don't quite remember, but like his name, but he looks familiar. I've seen him before.
Mm-hmm. When I tell you his name, you're going to go, oh, right. That's Larry Fink.
Okay. Yeah.
Monsieur BlackRock himself.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was like, he looks really familiar, but I just couldn't figure out who he was.
Well, there's two things about him. First of all, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. He's just like the dude in Talladega Nights, right? See that? Doesn't know what to do with his hands. There's another thing that these guys like to do. They like to put people in traditional Arab head garb behind them to prove that they're international. They do this all the time. Not everyone focuses on this. They really care about it, which is really interesting. I don't know what they're trying to say, but I think they just want to look like kings of the planet. Anyway, so here's another idea that failed, and they would never admit this just a few years ago.
You know, we always used to think shrinking population is a cause for negative growth. But in my conversations with the leadership of these large developed countries that have xenophobic immigration policies, they don't allow anybody to come in, shrinking unemployment, shrinking demographics, these countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology. And if the promise, I didn't say it's going to happen, but if the promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will, we'll be able to elevate the standard of living of countries and the standard of living of individuals, even with shrinking populations. And so the paradigm of negative population growth is going to be changing. And the social problems that one will have in substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations.
Okay, what did he just say? He just said a few things. It was all in subtext because the man is a cuck and a coward. That's why it's hard to catch, because he talks like a woman. Okay? That's what you get when you're soft. What'd he say? Just, yeah.
Oh man, all I remember was the shrinking of society. You're trying to like basically limit how many like our population it is, and that was a failure.
Yeah, he's saying that xenophobic countries are going to develop AI technology first. Gee, I wonder why. And then he says, and that's going to make it easier to deal with the other countries that have shrinking populations to replace them with robots.
Oh, cool.
What he's saying is that countries that have welcomed in everyone from all over the world, third worlders, etc., are having a population problem and generally a homogeneity goal problem. And those people are much easier to replace with robots.
Yeah, seems legit to me.
That's the thing about it is, it goes back to group and crowd behavior. When a crowd is behaving a certain way, when they're at a concert, right, and they all find the beat or whatever, and you just start, they know all the words to the song, so they're singing along. They know who they're there to see and that sort of thing. And you just start grabbing random people off the street and just replacing all of those people. Now nobody's singing with the lyric. Now nobody's singing the lyrics in the crowd. Nobody knows. All they can do is find the beat, and that's about it. We could just replace people with, okay, perfect. So they're just going to replace everyone with randos, and then they're going to replace those randos with robots. Because it's easier. There is an effect that diversity has upon groups, which you'll recognize immediately when I explain it. It has an effect of causing people to shut up, not communicate with their neighbors, and isolate, which turns them into, where's their main communication channel when they're not talking to their neighbors and their friends? The screen. If you watch the screen more, you turn more into a brainwashed NPC. You're training the AI, and it's learning. The large language models are learning about how you post online. That's why they all sound like Redditors. You're turning into a robot, and then they're going to replace you with an actual robot. And the reason that's happening is because you can't be a complete human if you're just living in a pod and eating bugs. And this was the idea. Larry Fink of BlackRock now says that countries that avoided mass immigration will be better positioned for the future. Yes. Mass immigration was always a scam to destabilize the West. It's why China admits almost zero refugees. Exactly. There's a lot of prongs to this one. But it turns out that our dream of social engineering, of creating a perfect utopian society, was perhaps a bit high in the sky, one might say. It's a really short way of saying this is to just say that it's this is Antichrist stuff. Which is yeah. We'll just replace people with robots. It's no different. They can complete the same tasks. And they don't feel, this is the weird, creepy part about it, is they don't feel guilt like you or I would feel guilt about doing that. Because they do believe that they have caused the population to engage with the world and act like robots. They don't think you're real. They don't think you're a person. You're a work unit in a machine. No different from a robot. And that's really creepy. Wait a minute. How did I get all the way through this Larry Fink clip without clicking the button?
Is this fat, bald retard serious?
He doesn't know what to do
There
with
it
his
is.
hands. He doesn't know what to do with his hands. Let's see here. What do I got? We're over our halfway point. I'm going to skip this one. This one is, I wouldn't say it's not going to fit with our flow. But before we get into the long one, the long march, we have one person to thank. There is one man from Texas carrying the show at this point. Nobody else gives a shit anymore, Daniel. Nobody. Tom sends 777. He says, AI is a demon. I am here to watch. Roger, Roger. What do you think? Is AI a demon?
Man, what a bad question to ask me. I think we already know the answer for me.
It's a demon, isn't it?
I'd have to say at this point, I really believe it's got to be. It's just wild.
It's something like that, isn't it?
But it's just so, it's hard to put it. We're just like it's like this weird Twilight Zone feel with it.
Yeah.
Because it's like on the verge of us playing God without, it actually being good enough to be at that point. Like, it can pass some of those tests to make it seem human, but then at the same time, it can't. It's really hard to put it. Like, to the untrained eye, yeah, it's like 100%. Like, you're having a conversation with it, you would never know it's not another person on the other end. But then there's times where it's like, all right, you can kind of tell. Because there's some key things, but at the same time, it's like, if you don't catch it, though, how would you know to the common person? So it's like right on the border of just being, like, I would put it that way, yeah.
I just remembered another element of the update for the YouTube Shorts thing. They've now got a feature or something where you can use an AI recreation of yourself to make videos. So you no longer have to set up a little corner in your apartment with your phone and tape yourself talking about the Hollow Earth and Agartha. Now you can just type the script in the thing and it will generate a video of you there. And that's your short.
I still can't believe that there's a guy on YouTube whose entire like goal was to make AI generated videos of himself doing everything. And he was doing it before this was becoming a thing. Like, he was getting it to that point. And everybody was just like completely shitting on him for it, saying it was horrible. This is a bad idea. You're ruining your channel by doing it. And the best part of it all is that everybody else finally got to that point where now, people are making millions of dollars off of this, and, big corporates are making millions of dollars off this idea too. He is completely tanked. So the guy who pioneered it, got made fun of it for it, has gone under for it while this is all happening too. He couldn't get his own stuff off the ground with it. But everybody else actually took that idea and ran with it. I think it's just wild.
It just reminds me of the Disney animatronic where now he was put into the robot. Like, yes, you with your dreams of the future, now you are the robot. Ah!
Soon the next thing is they're going to unveil the Dinobot from Disneyland. The monstrosity that it is and that it should never have been created.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. I have here for you a special presentation. I ran across this clip on the old Twitter platform of Elon Musk, who is definitely not a robot. It's called How to Spot a Communist. Here we go.
Recognizing a communist, physical appearance counts for nothing. If he openly declares himself to be a communist, we take his word for it. If a person consistently reads and advocates the views expressed in a communist publication, he may be a communist.
Well, what if every publication is now a communist publication? So those people that read the news from both sides might just be like secret commies?
Man, this is heavy, Doc.
Reads and advocates the views expressed in a communist publication, he may be a communist. If a person supports organizations which reflect communist teachings, or organizations labeled communist by the Department of Justice, she may be a communist. If a person defends the activities of communist nations while consistently attacking the domestic and foreign policy of the United States, she may be a communist. If a person does all these things over a period of time, he must be a communist. But there are other communists who...
KKK terror. Wait a second. Are they saying anti-racists are communists? I wish I could read these other signs. Some things never change, huh?
Who don't show their real faces, who work more silently.
Who work more silently. So I tried to find this movie. It is available, but I didn't like it very much. There's a beautiful website that I love, which is the Internet Archive. I use it for tons of research. They have so many scans of classic movies and films and that sort of thing, especially propaganda from the United States Armed Forces Information Service. But the best thing to look for if you want old movies and old films and stuff like this is the Prelinger archives. Once again, the Internet Archive. So I found this one. This is the Communist Blueprint for Conquest. Now, like I said earlier, I don't think that the political ideas are as important as some people believe that they are, because I don't believe that these people are smart enough to understand the intricacies, or not even the intricacies, but the basis for which their ideology that they take at face value, they don't actually understand where it comes from. They don't care. They don't understand the logical precepts that they are accepting to arrive at something as complicated as communism. They just are these things. Right? So when we're talking about communism, basically from here on out, we're talking about the humanity blob from Akira. We're talking about the forgotten and the unvirtuous and the proudly degenerate and the prideful and the arrogant and all of these things. These are people that get swept up into these things because they are vacated, vacuous minds that are attracted to powerful words and power. Because it turns out when you rot your entire life from top to bottom, the only saving grace you have, the only parachute you can really pull on this materialist plane is to look for power so you can continue to fight for your own protection against the elements of a virtuous society. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is that
makes some sense.
All I'm saying is that it's not important, the politics. What's important is the mindset. So here we go. We won't watch the whole thing. I know it's 30 minutes. But this is the Communist Blueprint for Conquest from 1955. Here we go.
To make every action of every individual within a country subject to communist control. What cannot be controlled must be undermined and destroyed. This basic objective of total power accounts for the ruthless and thorough way in which the communists have traditionally seized power. Take next some instruments which often give the communists a certain advantage over non-communists. First, organization. It is a misnomer to think of the Communist Party as a political party in our sense. Actually, it is organized along military lines and designed to operate at both legal and illegal levels. It exacts unquestioning obedience from its entire membership, demanding 24-hour-a-day duty from its trained hardcore, expecting its followers to use force if necessary. Thus, the communists have an organization whose discipline and high level of sustained activity permit them to exercise far greater influence than their size would normally warrant. Second, ideology. The secular faith of communism is in itself a special weapon. The traditional symbol of the clenched fist sums up the communist outlook. The communist creed calls for hatred, preaching the doctrine of undying hostility between communists and non-communists. It calls for destruction, denying the possibility of reforming existing institutions and insisting instead that these institutions be completely scrapped as unsound. It calls for violence, justifying the use of force, intimidation, and terrorism in the name of an allegedly greater good. This emphasis is made clear in communist textbooks, which speak not of the political opposition, but of the enemy.
Okay. Couple things to note. They don't think of themselves as left-wing. It's coincidental. They think of themselves as an opposing force to existing institutions. Left-wing is just the skin suit that they're wearing right now. You see, the so-called virtue is a skin suit. They don't believe in these things. We've discussed it many times before. These people appear to be the most hateful people on the planet. They say love wins, and we need to do these things for justice and for women and for gay people. And they come up with all these like moral or good-hearted sounding reasons. They're using the moral framework of soft-headed utopians to get what they want. That's why it works. This other bit in here about the clenched fist being the perfect symbol. Yes, it is, because it's the downtrodden, angry, forgotten, pissed off, or it's usually just like people who got themselves into a really bad situation and are so mad about it they don't want you to have a happy, successful life without them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they also believe that the institutions must be destroyed. So for us on the outside, we're like, the left controls the press, the left controls the universities, the left controls the corporate world because they did their DEI. Yes, they hollow these out, and then they're easy to destroy because they control the dialogue. And then, of course, they view anyone opposed to them as an enemy, period. And so right-wingers or that sort of kind of person is like, if only we could convince them. If only we could talk to them. If only we could, and the commies or the bad guys or the lefties or whatever you want to call them will say that. Did you try talking to them? Like Don Lemon raiding that church last week. He was at the pastor, like, did you try talking to them? And it's like, they were screaming in the middle of a church service. Well, did you try talking to them? It's like, if you talk to them, you're opening yourself up for attack. There is no negotiating with these people. Any thoughts so far? Should we press forward?
Just an add-on. Yeah, there is no negotiating with it. First off, they're never going to want to listen to you because you're the enemy. Second, they have no care in the world of what your opinion is of what's happening. You just need to bow down to it and accept it, or else you're the problem.
Right.
It's never going to change. It's just the book keeps writing itself on this stuff.
Well, they know that you will come to the table with them. If they say, let's have a discussion, I just want to talk, they know you'll come to the table to them with goodwill, and they can take advantage of that. Right? They know that you'll come and you'll say, all right, I'll hear you out, and we can have a dialogue, and that means they know they've got a foot in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're saying, bare your neck, I'll bare mine. And you have no intention of striking him, but he has every intention of striking you. That's how you know. And when you're in a room with one of these people and they want to pretend like, oh yeah, we're all equals, we can have a conversation, a dialogue even, you have to understand that's not the goal. The goal is to get you to think that you're friends so they can betray you and stab you in the back. Never let your guard down. You can't let your guard down around these people, especially the kinds that corner you and they're like, oh yeah, well, I understand we disagree on some things, but I think you'll understand the point someday. If it were legal to kill you, they'd do it right then. They would.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy. Their preference for military terms, chief line of attack, direct reserves, plan for distribution of forces, remind the communist follower that he is locked in permanent conflict. Third, leadership. At the top of the communist parties, are professionals in the manipulation of power. By the time these men have reached the top, they have divorced themselves from any respect for ethical or human values. They have cut their emotional ties with the local population. They have each proved their personal ruthlessness in a competition in which there is no voluntary retirement. Spurred on by the prospects of acquiring unchecked power, these men shun compromise and conciliation. Their mission is to drive ahead toward the complete destruction of the old system in order to have a free hand in building their version of the new. Fourth, and most important, armed force. This has been the decisive factor. With the exception of Czechoslovakia, no country has come under communist control until after it had been occupied by the Soviet army or conquered by the local communist army. The presence of this military force has guaranteed the personal safety of the local communists and threatened the security of individuals who opposed them. In the end, the communists have been able to impose their grip on a country because they have had overwhelming military power. Subversion, terrorism, ruthless leadership, a disciplined following, effective organization, all played an important role. But the determining factor was the preponderance of military force. These various communist instruments have usually proved effective only during or immediately after the destruction and confusion of war. When the previous authority has broken down, when people have lost confidence in existing institutions, when there is a general feeling of helplessness and frustration. In this atmosphere, the promises of communism often appeal to the dissatisfied and the disillusioned as a way out. The communists have been quick to exploit these unsettled conditions, seeking to arouse popular discontent with what has existed before, and then to inflame this resentment into action. Now let us look at the communist strategy in operation. Here on this chart is a schematic picture of a country showing economic groups, social and economic organizations, political parties, and the governmental structure. And here is a small communist party, often initially numbering only a few thousand individuals. Obviously, the first objective of the communists was to gain a foothold in the government. In countries where the local communist army had defeated the previous government, there was no problem. In other countries, the communists invariably championed the idea of a united front. It might be called the National Unity Front, the Fatherland Front, or the National Democratic Front. Composed of parties of the political center and left, it also often included new political parties, secretly sponsored by the communists to strengthen their own position. During this initial period, the communists...
Let me go back to that chart real quick. So what do we got here? Who falls under the United Front?
Oh, man, the usual outliers. Socialist, liberal, nationalist.
Mm-hmm. It's weird.
I'm pretty sure there's even more you can keep naming on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
That are just not the basics.
Is it weird to see nationalists in a united front with communists?
I'll be 100% real with you, Chief. The nationalists, I vaguely know about what they are, but not 100%. So I couldn't really put up an opinion on it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. We can get back to that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, but you can also say the same thing about right side. Even though it's not circled into it, you could tie some of it into it too. It just depends on what people believe.
Right. Well,
that they can pull from. It's more of but if you're going off of it just party wise, yeah, it's easy for those groups because a lot of it falls underneath what communist is.
Right. Well, look who is outside of the United Front, and maybe he'll explain this a little bit later. But what I see here is just rightists.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the groups that they select for the United Front, you are just a right-wing radical. And then they just like work their way through each of these: liberals, socialists, nationalists, agrarians, all of this stuff. Agrarian is I believe that just means somebody who's like a farmer. But it could also, it's an old movie, right? So the term could mean something different. It could also just mean people who are interested in preserving the environment. He'll have to say something about nationalists because I don't understand exactly how that'll work in. The only thing is, like I was saying with that psycho we were looking at that looked like a neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
If it's like a neo-Nazi nationalist, I could see perfectly why they would join up with a communist front. Because they're both cut from the same cloth. They want to destroy the existing order for whatever reason. I mean, yeah. Well, let's just carry on here a little bit.
To strengthen their own position. During this initial period, the communists soft-pedaled the idea of revolution and class struggle in order not to alarm their temporary allies. Instead, they talked in patriotic and nationalist terms. They called for an end to political quibbling and for a united nationwide effort to bring about recovery after the war. In Asia, they talked in terms of a national liberation movement to rally the local population against the so-called imperialists. In the event of an election, the United Front could be used to offer the voters a single ticket. As a member of the coalition, the communists could ride in, as it were, on the coattails of the United Front. Or, if elections were not immediately scheduled and a provisional government was established, the communists, as in Eastern Europe, used their backing by the Soviet occupation forces to gain representation in the government. In either case, the communists found themselves with a block of seats in the parliament and membership in the cabinet. The communists did not have their eye only on the national government. They were equally active in the countryside. Where local government had broken down, they helped organize so-called national councils as a provisional governmental group. No village was too small for their organizing activity. And so the communists established their political beachhead not only in the central government, but in the regional and rural administrations as well. Once in the government, the communists were in a position to launch their basic strategy: to destroy the conservative elements of society, to paralyze the middle-of-the-road groups, and to neutralize the mass of workers and peasants. The conservative groups were the initial target. As a first step, the communists would call for the parties of the political right to be outlawed. In Eastern Europe, they argued that these parties had collaborated with the Nazis. That they
Man, would you look at that?
Oh, nothing ever changes.
Yeah, man, you know, it's always fun to see history repeat itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're
Man,
Nazi
in real time too.
Yeah, the conservatives are collaborating with Nazis. You know, see, this is the communism is really, it's a masterwork of black magic and spellcraft. It's so good, I'm not even sure how you stop it. You see? Like, it is so good because you look at what's happening in America today, and the people who are against this Akira humanity blob are just they're just Nazis, right? They're anti-communist, Nazi, racist Hitlers, right? But they weren't that to begin with, right? They were just like people who like voted for President Bush, right? They didn't like what Clinton did with the lady in his office or whatever. They voted for Bush. They got us into a war, whatever, right? That's how it works. But then the lefties, the radical ones, came along and started calling all of those people secretly racist Nazis. And those people recoiled and said, I'm not that, I'm not that, I'm not that, for years and years and years and years. And then what happened? They had enough, and they snapped, and they said, I am that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We see this right now with a lot of radical right-wingers, where they snapped and they said, well, you scream and cry about racism a lot. Maybe I'll look into it. Because you made me think about it, and I know you hate it. Right? And that's the reason that right-wingers become sort of reactionary to all of this, and they react to being called this by going, well, if you hate it and you're afraid of it, then I'll be that, because whatever it's going to take to get you off my back, I'll do it. And so you see how communism creates its own opposition by radicalizing people who didn't want anything to do with it in the first place. And by then, the monster's grown so huge that they can encircle and squash these people just by calling them racists. Just by saying they're Nazis or whatever. Because by then, the entire background of all of this has changed, and they can get away with it. This worked a lot better when we didn't have the internet. But because communication speed and latency is reduced to microseconds, it doesn't work as well anymore. However, communism itself still has, and this United Front stuff still has a tremendous effect on the mind of the midwit, who is still asleep. You see, you understand the conversation we're having right now? Like, do you understand that this is like wartime radio kind of thing? Like,
yeah,
we're talking to people who understand a lot of this, and all of us are surrounded by midwits and normies who don't even know that this is happening.
It's starting to remind me a lot of like the whole Red Scare.
Why is
your
that?
neighbor too could be. It's the communist scare, the Red Scare.
Right.
That whole era of it. It just reminds me of it a lot. Like your neighbor, could be one, and everybody's just on edge.
Mm-hmm. That's why,
so yeah.
I've lost so many friends who have mistaken me trying to be truthful and accurate for being like right wing. Because the nefarious nature of all of this is that trying to be truthful and trying to be accurate is also slapped in with right wing. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's the nature of this weapon. This is a mind weapon. Right? Alex Jones was right. There's a war on your mind. So yeah, it's definitely somewhat isolating to want to understand this stuff, to literally be watching 70-year-old propaganda about it, and it's being like, holy shit, dude, like, yeah. All right. Oh, my mouse fell asleep. Give me 1 second. Let's carry on.
They were responsible for the national catastrophe in which the country found itself. And in many cases, these rightist groups were barred by law. As a result, the conservative elements of society were politically isolated. They no longer had a party to defend their interests. The communists then moved against the economic groups themselves. In each country, they championed the idea of land reform. They called for breaking up large estates and dividing this land among the peasants. The enactment of land reform into law accomplished two objectives for the communists.
Reparations. Land reform.
It removed the economic basis of power of the landowners, eliminating them as an economic group, and at the same time, it served to neutralize the peasants, since many of them would now receive a plot of ground for their very own. The same technique was used to eliminate the economic power of big business. Usually any factory that employed more than 50 workers was made a target for nationalization. By sponsoring a program of public ownership, the communists were able to eliminate the economic power of the so-called big business group, and at the same time, neutralize for the moment the industrial workers by promises of job security and full employment.
It works, man. It works. It works. Of course it works. It's all based on incentives. You know, it's like, oh yeah, they took over the big business. Like, this all sounds like very, very like foreign and old, and like you're imagining like guys with red stars on their caps kicking down doors and like making these nationalizing the factories so that it doesn't work that way anymore. Not in the information age. That's not how war works now. And this is what's crazy to me is like big businesses, big companies. It's like the pudding head idiots out in Hollywood destroyed themselves by letting their liberals talk too much. It's not a secret. Woke isn't the goal. Are you kidding? Woke is the tool. You know, they got the Avengers guys to sit on a Zoom call and talk about voting for Kamala Harris. And they did it because they're idiots. They're actors. You could pay them to say anything. And then the worst part is that they're so muddle-headed and delusional, they begin to believe the things that they're saying. Of course it works. You can warn business owners all day. You can tell them, don't get into the diversity thing. Well, we have to. No, you don't. You actually don't. Don't let these DEI wokesters come in. Don't hire people like that. And they do it. And they go, what are you, some kind of Nazi? Like, no, I'm actually trying to save you. But then they all do it. And then it's just another node that's been captured by this mind weapon. This is the thing that I can't emphasize enough, and people don't think this way because the screen and information is so ubiquitous now that it's just another part of life. But you are what you eat. You are what you see. What you see, monkey see, monkey do, right? I don't remember if I mentioned this on an interview. I think I mentioned it on an interview that's not released yet, but I'm just going to repeat myself because it's really, really important. I think it's really, really important. I know I put it in the Telegram. So again, I apologize if I'm a broken record. But I was reading the Sermon on the Mount, and I came across this little verse. It goes like this: the light of thy body is thy eye. If thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be lightsome. But if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be darksome. If then the light that is in thee be darkness, the darkness itself, how great shall it be? Let me read that in normal English. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? What he's saying there is your eyes are a doorway. What you see, what you believe, what you say, even if it's under pressure, whatever it is, if what you're seeing is darkness, if what you're seeing is confusion or madness or indoctrination or ideology, whatever it is, that's what's going to come in and fill up your whole being. So if you're exposing yourself to this stuff on a frequent basis, it's going to change you. That's why they went after the movies. That's why they went after the video games. That's why Fable looks the way it does, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you can change people's minds, you can change everything else about them. It's like, give me your gun, Daniel. I don't know you. No. If I convince you that I'm your friend and that the only thing we can do to save the podcast is for you to give me your gun, it's a little bit of a different story. You might just shoot me. But you see what I mean? Like the reasons for doing things. It's like some rando asks you for money. No, not interested, man. Your mother asks you for money, or a friend you've known for 20 years asks you for, $15 or whatever. Of course you're going to give it to them. Because who they are changes your mind, changes your decision making. That's why they go after your eyeballs and your brain first. Did you have any thoughts on that, or should we push forward?
We're going to push forward.
At the same time, the communists were seeking strong points within the executive side of the government. They wanted especially to be represented in certain ministries, often the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Information, and the Ministry of Interior. The Ministry of Interior was especially important because it controlled the police. Since the police were often organized on a national basis, control of the ministry meant control of the police throughout the country. The communists used a number of techniques to ensure the subservience of the police. Police officials who were anti-communist were simply purged. Loyal communists were placed in positions of authority. Then a determined effort was made to implicate individual policemen in some infraction of the law, to force a police officer to compromise himself by carrying out an illegal order, so that thereafter the communists would be able to hold over his head the threat of arrest in order to ensure his cooperation. Pending the complete takeover of the police, the communists invariably organized an auxiliary police force in the form of so-called factory guards or special militia. At each factory, the communists would organize a group of young militants whose ostensible mission was to guard the factory against the so-called enemies of the people. In actual fact, the existence of these factory guards provided the communists with a private police force of their own.
This is called HR.
Right on the money. I agree. This is HR.
That's what it is. It's a little doorway. You can't get your application through the door. They don't want you, man. They don't want you. Why? Because they have their own little unit in there that makes sure that the only people that get in to work for whatever company made Fable, whatever company made Forspoken, or whatever the hell we were talking about earlier, Forsworn, I don't remember what it is. They only let each other in, and they keep all of the other people out. And we wonder why everything is so mediocre now. Because it was never about diversity. Of course not. Diversity does have the advantage of creating very unique, cool things, right? Especially when you have diversity of thought. But that's not what they want. They use people's skin color as cover. They call that diversity. But it's not diversity. It's battle droids letting in other battle droids only.
By organizing a special militia and gradually taking over the police, the communists came into possession of one of the main coercive instruments at the disposal of the state, the Ministry of Interior. The communists also sought to gain control of the Ministry of Information in order to have a parallel instrument for persuasion. In some countries, government censorship was a long-established practice. Newspapers and publications were licensed by the government. Often the supply of newsprint was rationed, and in many cases the radio network was operated by the state. Having control of the Ministry of Information meant that the communists were in a position to interfere with the efforts of other parties to reach the population. Finally, the Ministry of Agriculture. It was...
That's the difference, though, between now and then, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a Ministry of Information in your pocket. The strongest weapon they have right now is algorithm. Algorithmic throttling, keeping people out. But because of how the internet works, if you want to find something, you can find it. So what they try to do is set up these little plantations that nobody ever leaves, called like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and they know where all those people are. And then you don't go out and find real information. You just get brainwashed. But there's still enough play there and there's still enough of a way to hijack broadcasts and that sort of thing to keep that from happening. That's the difference between then and now. Let me check our time here. We got about 10 minutes left. Let's go just a little bit longer. Or we can see what it looks like when they're basically done. What do you think?
Ooh. I'm good either way. I think both either way wouldn't matter too much to me.
Well, let me just show on screen for everybody who wants to find the whole thing. Communist Blueprint for Conquest by U.S. Armed Forces Information Service, 1955, Prelinger Archives. That's what you want to look for. You can find all kinds of stuff. You can watch till your heart's content. Yeah, let's skip ahead. I want to see what's going on with this like labor bread line, whatever this is here.
Give an impression of multi-party government.
Actually, no, hang on. I'm pulling it back. I want to hear about that.
Or in East Germany, the Socialist Unity Party. And it represents a forced amalgamation of the left-wing socialists and the communists. Once communists and socialists were joined together, the communists would call for all party cards to be turned in and would reissue them only to those socialists who could be counted upon to collaborate actively with the communists. The socialists left out were thus removed from political activities altogether. The communist-controlled police were used to intimidate both the voters and the candidates of opposition parties. The population was made to feel afraid not to vote and afraid to vote for other than communist candidates. Opposition party candidates were often arrested on trumped-up charges. At the polling booths, the communist-controlled police would often bar the observers from non-communist parties or fail to distribute the ballots for non-communist candidates or simply participate in the falsification of the voting. Large elements of the population were denied the right to vote on the grounds that they were so-called enemies of the people. And so, by these various techniques, the communists were gradually able to whittle away the other parties, leaving only splinter groups or collaborationist parties to give an impression of multi-party government. At this point, the communists actually controlled the machinery of government.
Gee, I wonder what happened to the right-wingers. They got big X's over them. Huh.
They're all dead, you dumb son of a bitch! What the fuck?
Man, it got a little morbid there.
Yeah.
Of political power. But as we noted earlier, this was not enough. There were still independent economic and social organizations and groups. These had to be controlled or destroyed. And so the communists moved against the middle class. The small businessman, the shopkeeper, represented independent economic activity. In attacking this group, a common technique was to issue ration cards only to members of the working class. This meant that the small businessman had the choice of buying his food on the free market, where prices were vastly higher, or on the black market, where he ran the risk of arrest. In either case, whatever savings he might have would soon disappear. Taxation on the small businessman was progressively increased until it became unprofitable to make a profit. So-called currency reform was a favored practice. A citizen might retire one night with a savings of 1,000 units of currency and wake up to find that a new currency had been established. 100 old units now equaled one new one, so that his savings had dropped overnight from 1,000 to 10. In the large cities, the communists practiced the more direct approach of simply clearing out all the middle-class residents of an apartment house and transporting them to the countryside to work on state projects. The professional groups include the doctors, lawyers, teachers, as well as the artistic members of society. The doctors were simply inducted into the civil service. They were assigned medical districts, their fees were set by the state, and they operated as government workers. If a doctor had an active anti-communist record, he could always be assigned as a medical officer in a concentration camp. The lawyers, before they could practice, were required first to pass an examination in the principles of Marxism, Leninism, Stalinism. As far as artistic individuals are concerned, the writers, artists, composers, dancers, they, of course, are a special target. The communists are eager to secure the appeal of their talents and the respectability of their names in support of the party's program. If the artists refused to cooperate, they found themselves completely barred from their public. And so the
Oh, Lord. One more time.
Refused to cooperate, they found themselves completely barred from their public.
If they refused to cooperate, they weren't allowed to do it anymore. Huh! Does that sound familiar? I'm so tired of saying that.
Oh, man, it's a tale as old as time.
It's like, you gotta make our art or you're not allowed in the club. You gotta make Fable retarded or you don't get to make video games. And I don't know why, but at least in America, it seems like a lot of people didn't accept that. And once again, this is where the internet actually can work to that advantage. You can make a living doing this kind of thing, doing your art, just on the internet. You don't need to have a union, or you don't have to work in Hollywood or New York to make other stuff work. You know? As long as you can find enough patrons, I suppose. But that is exactly what we see. It's like, why is everything slop? Because it's easy, and anyone can do it. But I think that's probably a good spot to stop on the communist blueprint for conquest, because I mean, it's just a little bit obvious now, isn't it? When it was happening, it didn't seem that obvious, right? It was subtle. It was like, well, you're not a racist, are you? And it's like, well, no, but I don't like how this is being done. This seems like it's against the regulations or against the rules or unethical or whatever. And they say, well, that's just old-fashioned imperialism left over in your heart that hasn't been squashed out yet. That's all that is. You say, I have to do more work. And they're like, yes, do the work. Eliminate the microaggressions in your mind first. And then maybe we'll allow you to eat at our table. It's so insidious. And that's what I was saying earlier, is it's so effective. I mean, it's like, how did somebody come up with something this good at capturing an entire society? I don't know. I personally don't believe that it came from people. I believe it came from the dark ones. But, you know, it's a very old spell that's just got the word communism, leftism, wokeism. It doesn't matter. It wears lots of different faces. It's the same architecture, right? It's the same building. It's just got different paint on the walls. I know that was a little serious. How about we end on something a little whimsical and fun?
Oh, I would like that. All this talk of communism, kind of putting a knot in my stomach.
How about this guy who makes a living photographing squirrels?
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
I don't think there's
I got a little too loud here.
anybody else in the world that is doing what I do. I try to capture the expressions so that they're smiling or look like they're saying something. A lot of people think it's AI, which is obviously not. I felt like it was like a mission from God. I just had to do it. My name is Johnny Kappa. I live in Gothenburg, Sweden. 15 years ago, I got interested in photography. I started out shooting concerts, but during the pandemic, I didn't have anything else but the squirrels. It became the only thing. There was this open land, and when I walked into it, I felt like I had walked into a fairyland. It felt magical. It was so beautiful, serene, calm, and there was a lot of squirrels, a lot of birds. And I said, this is the place. I started to be more in the moment, not just listening to music or podcasts. So I started to enjoy it a lot more. When I bought these cameras, I was in awe.
Oh my God!
I felt like I had to watch every second, not to miss anything, because all the details, it's a lot of small ideas to get where I am today.
Daniel, it's so
I
cute.
like chaos in my photography. When it's something that you can't plan, you can plan for it, but you can't plan it. So I like the surprise element. I started out with putting out hazelnuts, walnuts, and sitting away back. Then I noticed one day the food ran out. And then the squirrel came up to me to tell me, hey, I need a refill. Then I realized, wow, I could probably sit a lot closer. That's kind of what sets my photography apart from most other squirrel photographers. I would think that they recognize me, but if I buy new equipment, they get very suspicious. They don't want to come up until they checked everything out. It's just a split second to take the photo that I want. It's a rare occasion that they pose for me, so you have to be super fast.
Look at that. Oh, but to be a fluffy squirrel. Ay, ay, ay.
I think I might have to become a Jew.
Oh, sorry.
Wow, what a call out there. That just makes you want to become a Jew, right?
Whoops.
I was about to say, I want to go back to the times where I was a kid and I didn't really know all this stuff and everything just seemed innocent. And then you did that and I'm like, nah, perfect. That's even better.
Yeah, I mean, I love this stuff like this just because it's just so nice and so real. I mean, look at that. He's sitting on the camera.
Man, it's nice to kind of throw in something like this just to get a break from all the slop and garbage that is the world.
I know. Somewhere out there, there is a squirrel photography job for us, buddy. Where things
more and more, I believe Adam, he's got to invite us on one of his trips north and do a cabin in the woods.
Yes, I totally agree. We could use more trips to the north. Not right now, though. It's just a little too cold.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's it. That's it for the show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It was fun. The show must go on, despite the zombie hordes beating down our doors. At least we don't live in Minneapolis, but we did live in Kenosha during the last
the riots.
Yeah.
This is starting to feel like in Five Nights at Freddy when we're about to say, remember the bite of 87?
Yeah.
We're on that level of craziness.
Yeah. Well, everybody, hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to like, rate, subscribe, leave a comment. Don't be lazy. Every little bit helps with the algo. If you can donate, please donate. I'm sure Tom is getting a little bit tired of being the only one for almost a month straight who's given anything. Every little bit helps. But at the very least you can do is freaking like the video. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, it's free. It's a free option for us.
It's
come
free.
On. Support us that way.
Exactly. It's one click of a button. Can you leave a like for the upkeep? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed yourself. We'll see you next time on the Clowntown Chronicle. Keep your eyes out for the next interview. The next two that are coming your way soon, free of charge. Have a great week, everyone. Stay warm. Watch out if you're down there in the gigantic winter storm. Goodbye.
Why does this matter?
I'm back! Credit card, you bastard! Life is fiery with its beauty!
Extraordinary content.
Is this fat, bald retard serious?
Elmo just got vaccinated. You're so prolific with the words.
If you believe that, I don't know what else to tell you.